At the time, his death barely made headlines. But now, nearly 3 years later, there is renewed interest in what happened to Michael David Hicks. Why? Hicks, a NASA scientist who spent decades studying asteroids and deep space, died in 2023 at the age of 59. No public cause of death has ever been released. Now, Hicks worked on major missions, including NASA's DART project, which tested whether humans could deflect asteroids, earlier deep space missions studying comets. His death is now being discussed alongside other cases involving researchers connected to NASA, missile systems, nuclear technology, who have either died or disappeared. Among them, a NASA-related researcher honored for breakthrough work who also died with little public attention, a NASA director who disappeared and has not been found, a fusion scientist working on next-generation energy killed in what investigators have described as a targeted attack, a retired Air Force general, deep knowledge of advanced technology, who reportedly walked away from his home and vanished. The McCaslin case, we've talked about that. How about an astrophysicist shot and killed outside his home? A family member of that astrophysicist spoke with one of our producers earlier today. They told us exclusively they believe his death was an isolated incident and is not connected to the other cases. Now, importantly, and to be clear, there is no confirmed evidence publicly linking any of the deaths or disappearances, and officials have not said that they're connected, but former intelligence and law enforcement officials note that scientists working in sensitive fields have long been targets for foreign intelligence operation. Members of Congress are calling for closer scrutiny, saying the number and nature of these cases warrant attention. It's all strange. Yeah, that's clear. But are these separate and unrelated tragedies, or could there be overlapping risks that are not yet fully understood? It's time to bring in Lauren Conlin, Los Angeles Magazine contributor who's been following this. Great to see you. Wearing green, by the way, in support of her theory that we're not alone. Little green men.
We
right?
are not alone.
Okay.
We are not alone, Jesse.
Very appropriate.
Yep.
Anything you're seeing that would suggest there's a pattern or any of these are connected?
Absolutely. I mean, we are seeing a pattern, and the most striking thing for me is Monica Riza and General McCaslin. I mean, Monica Riza worked closely with General McCaslin, and she disappeared under extremely, extremely disturbing and mysterious circumstances. And reportedly, she co-patented a super alloy that was going to be used for rocket propulsion. She knew a lot. General McCaslin knew a lot. They worked at Wright-Patterson, where reportedly they're holding debris from extraterrestrial creatures from Roswell. And I believe that. I believe those two knew a lot. And Monica Riza, her disappearance, I mean, the fact that she was hiking with a friend or two, I mean, it's a little bit unclear, some of the information. But the fact that she was right behind them, 30 feet behind them, and then she disappeared just out of nowhere. I mean, literally, they found a hat, and apparently her scent stopped at the hat, and that was it. And then Neil McCaslin, I mean, you have to wonder the timing. President Trump saying, you know, I'm going to release these files. Stopped at the hat, and that was it. And then Neil McCaslin, I mean, you have to wonder the timing. President Trump saying, you know, I'm going to release these files, and then 6 days later, Neil McCaslin goes missing. I don't think that he was kidnapped and tortured for classified information. I don't. I think something went off in his head.
What about this? You mentioned this 325 meeting that's somehow part of it?
Yes, so I did mention to you off camera that there was a meeting, a SCIF meeting, basically, where they do this in an
secure
isolated
facility. Yeah.
Yes, a secured facility. And there was Democrats, Republicans, because this is a very bipartisan topic. They're both very interested. And General McCaslin, his disappearance was discussed. UAPs were discussed. So I don't think this story is going away, Jesse.
Is the Michael David Hicks death investigation now going to create a change, or people looking at this in a different way?
You know, I think that people are looking at these deaths now. I don't necessarily know if that death is connected, because we simply don't know enough right now. We really don't. Carl Grillmair's death is very troubling, though, to me, for a number of reasons. And Carl Grillmair, I know his wife mentioned that she doesn't think that this was connected at all. And sure, maybe so, but there's still so much that we don't know. He was a Caltech genius astrophysicist, and this man that killed him was on his property in December of 2025. He called police because this guy had an unregistered rifle. Obviously, we didn't know at the time it was unregistered, but he gets arrested, this guy, Freddie Snyder, and for whatever reason, Los Angeles decides to just let him out, ROR, and the charges,
On
a
his own
felony weapons.
recognizance.
Yes, thank you. A felony weapons charge was just dropped by February 5th. And then he goes back and shoots Carl Grillmair, allegedly, right, on February 16th. I mean, I don't understand it. Like, Carl Grillmair lived in a very isolated area. He would have had to have known. He had to have planned this. And again, Los Angeles is like, or actually California's a Stone Age. I don't have all the paperwork yet. I've had to FOIA request this and write letters. It's insane.
30 seconds. Anything from authorities or investigators connecting this at all? Have they given that?
No,
They're being quiet.
They are not coming out, and I think that this would be the FBI to say anything, right? Or somewhere, you know, someone at the White House, let's say. But no, local authorities are not connecting anything.
Lauren Conlin, always good seeing you. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you, Jesse.
So strange.